Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about habits that are preventing us from building true wealth. Let's face it, we all have bad money habits that we're not proud of, but the first step is to identify them so then we can change them. I truly believe that if we become savvy with our finances, any one of us could achieve financial freedom. If you're new here, my name is AC. I'm currently a full-time doctor and my second passion is personal finance. My goal is to help us get more comfortable with our money. I truly believe if we change our relationship with money, we can all live more happier and fulfilling lives. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first bad habit is having disorganized finances. If you have credit cards open everywhere, if you have student loans that you don't know the balance of, and if you don't even know where you're spending your money, then it's time to reevaluate. Without a clear understanding of your financial health, it's impossible to make the right decision. The key to getting organized is simple. Start tracking your spending and create a budget. There are a couple of apps I really like out there, like You Need a Budget and Mint. They're a little bit different because Mint will help you track your expenses in retrospect, but I really prefer You Need a Budget because it's a prospective budgeting app, which means that every month you see your income coming in and you get to allocate where that income is going before you spend it. So this way, you're not scrambling at the end of each month. You know exactly how much money you have coming in, and that way you can allocate it to the correct things and never run into trouble. I promise you, if you just take a couple of hours to set up a budget right now, it will pay huge dividends in the long run. The second point I want to discuss is not having an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable and expenses could pop up at any time. If you're not prepared for them, you might have to go into credit card debt or even take out a personal loan to pay them off. I recommend building up 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So if your monthly spending is $2,000, a good goal for you would be around $6,000 to $12,000, and you might be telling yourself, this is impossible. I already live paycheck to paycheck and it's impossible to save any money. In this next point, I'm going to play devil's advocate and tell you why this is not true. So habit number 4 is always paying yourself last. I first heard about this concept from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he mentions there are 2 types of people and the way they approach bills. The first is the poor person's habit. First, they'll pay off their current bills, spend whatever's left, and maybe they'll save some money at the end of the month. On the other hand, the rich person's habit is to take a portion of your income every month and automatically set it aside into a savings account. You won't even see the money and it's automatically deducted. The poor person's habit is prioritizing material goods and spending, whereas the rich people's habit is prioritizing your future self. So let's look at a real life example. You probably get your paycheck every 2 weeks. You look at your credit card bills and your rent. You pay those off first. And then you ask yourself, where should I spend the money? What do I want to buy? What vacations do I want to take? Do I want to upgrade my iPhone? You spend the money, and at the end of the month, maybe if there's anything left in your checking account, maybe you'll put it in the savings account. I'm going to challenge you right now. Take a portion of your income and set it aside. I don't care if it's 1%, 5%, or 20%. You just need to start somewhere and start getting into the habit of automatically deducting a portion of your paycheck and paying yourself first. I recommend making an automatic transfer so you don't even see the money. Now, this might be difficult for the first couple of months because you might already be living paycheck to paycheck. I promise you, you will find a solution. Either your spending will go down or your income will go up. I guarantee you, if you set it up this way, in 3 months, you won't even notice the deduction in your paycheck. On the other hand, if you don't make this change now, I guarantee you, you're pretty much going to be working forever. If you don't start prioritizing your future self now, no one else is going to do that for you. We all want to have more control of our time, and I truly believe this is the first step. Habit number 4 is becoming numb to bad debt. We live in a society where debt has become so normalized that everyone has hundreds of thousands of debt. Take the average 20-year-old. They have tons of student loan debt, and then in their 30s and 40s, they'll take another $500,000 of debt in a home mortgage. And this is so normal. For people in their 50s and 60s, they might still be paying off student loans and a home mortgage, and that's completely the norm. And just because everyone else is doing it, that doesn't mean you have to do it as well. And I understand student loan debt and home mortgages are almost a necessity in this day and age, but you still have to be smart about them. Just because you qualify for a $1 million home mortgage doesn't mean you need to take out that full amount. Try and minimize your debt in the first place and then be aggressive about paying it down. And as a caveat, if you do have a low interest rate mortgage locked in at 2 to 3% or student loans refinanced at 2%, then you can take your time. Not all debt is created equal, but make sure to pay off that high interest rate debt immediately. If you have any credit card debt at 18 to 20%, you have to pay that off immediately. The 5th bad habit is paying extra just due to a lack of planning. I used to be so bad at this that I would buy a new umbrella every time it rained. I lived in New York City during medical school, and I probably bought close to 20 umbrellas umbrellas just because I wasn't prepared for the rain. And this is okay if it happens once in a while, but if this happens in every aspect of your spending, it can add up real quick. And here's a couple of real life tips which I've been using. If you know you're going to be traveling and have the date already set up, buy the ticket immediately. Don't wait until the last minute, just buy it 3 months in advance and lock in that price. In addition, there's actually some airlines that will price match. For example, Southwest, if the airfare gets cheaper, they'll actually price match and you'll get a refund. Make a grocery list as the items come up. On my iPhone, I have a notes app and I have a running list of groceries. This way, I'm not spending gas each time just to pick up a gallon of milk. In addition, I can save time at the grocery store because I know exactly what I need for the week. So far, we've talked a lot about savings, but the conversation cannot end there. There's a limit to how much you can save before we all go a little crazy. And let's be honest, none of us want to live under a rock just to save money over the next 20 years. This would not be a fulfilling life, and I don't think that should be the goal. So what can we do about this? Increase our income. When you're early on in your career in your 20s and 30s, make sure your job is also providing an opportunity for you to level up. You should always be learning new skills, and if your job isn't providing that, you need to look for that outside of the workplace. And that brings me to the next point, only having one source of income. A typical 9 to 5, you're always trading your time for money, and this will help make corporations wealthier, but it's not really helping you escape the rat race. And in this current environment, there's so many ways to build up a side hustle and maybe turn it into a full-time job someday. For example, jobs like video editing, social media manager, or even becoming a personal assistant online pay quite well. If you take time to learn these skill sets, you'll always have a backup plan and you'll have flexibility because a lot of these are work from home jobs. And that brings me to the next point, waiting too long to invest in the stock market. Time in the market is the most important aspect because of a small thing called compound interest. The earlier you get in, the more time you have for your money to grow. This is your sign to take time to learn about index funds and start saving in the stock market. It really doesn't have to be a lot. Start with $10, $50, $100. Whatever you can manage, it's good to start early. My personal favorite is the S&P 500, which is an index fund of the top 500 companies in the United States. And if you want to learn more about how you can invest in it, you can check out my other video here. Number 9 on the list is lifestyle inflation. We live in a world where it's easy to get caught up in the mindset of always wanting more, especially to keep up with appearances. We often fall into the trap where our spending will increase as our income grows. It's important to recognize that not all material possessions will equate to happiness. I've done a lot of self-reflection and I understand what brings me true happiness. Spending time with my friends, traveling to new places, and having control of my time. If I'm able to do those 3 things, I'm truly happy. I don't always need to drive the newest car, nor do I always need the newest iPhone. As long as I can do those 3 things, I will be happy. And that's why my spending reflects those things. I spend a lot of money on plane tickets, I spend a lot of money on food, and I spend even more money on my friends and family because experiences is the most important thing to me. Warren Buffett famously said, "Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money." And this brings me to my final point. This may be a little controversial, but I truly think the biggest sin you can commit to yourself is not caring about your personal finances. Many people will say that there are more important things than money, and I 100% agree with that sentiment. Your family, your health, and your relationships are all more important than money, but money will play a significant impact in all 3 of these areas. Finance does control many aspects of our lives, and we simply can't ignore them. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits by James Clear. He states that one of the most fundamental aspects of behavior change is to shape your habits around identity change. Let's use the most common scenario of all. We all want more fulfilling relationships, whether that be as parents, as brothers, as sisters, as partners, as friends, you name it. But in order to get there, we all have to be a little selfish first and build your own financial identity so you can take care of yourself and then take care of others. And I'll leave you with this final quote. Money's greatest intrinsic value, and this cannot be overstated, is its ability to give you control over your time. And there you go, 10 habits that will prevent you from building wealth. It will take time, but try your best to tackle one at a time. Do the easiest one first, but do something. The goal is just to get started, and as James Clear would say in Atomic Habits, 1% improvement every day will lead to remarkable results. This was a little bit of a different video. If you found value in this video, leave a like, subscribe, and tell me what you're going to do today to make changes in your financial life. Leave a comment and we'll all work together to build more fulfilling lives. See you guys, peace.